All right, looks like we're live. Let's see here. Getting everything set up. For those of you that are in here already, let me know what the mic sounds like. I know I've been messing around with it for a couple of days now, and I moved some things around. Is it Let me know if it sounds okay. Your pal Al's in the house. 6H Spindrift, what's up? Another green day so far in pre-market. Absolutely. Michael, what's up? Good morning. Al says, did you notice that CLOV shot up yesterday right after you stopped live streaming? Can you make breakfast for your kids again this morning and get them ready for school? Absolutely. Actually, that's the plan. So today I'm going to try to log off a little early as well, just because they're still trying to get in their routine. I want to make sure they're dressed in time and ready to get out the door. Scotty's in the house. What's up, Scotty? What's going on? It's almost Friday. Pete, good morning. KLF. Julio, what's up? Good morning. Div by Zero. MMMPR. What's up? Good morning. Kamal. Pete says the mic sounds cool. Right on. Yeah, so I think I figured it out. I was playing with the gain and doing some other stuff, but I kind of redid my wires. And so I was just wanted to make sure that, it wasn't getting interference like it was last week. Again, thank you, Joseph, if you're out there watching, for helping me out on Friday. I really appreciate it. Naveen, what's up? Good morning. 7-leaf clovers in the house. Good morning. All right, so yeah, it looks like CLOV's moving up a little bit. Before we get to that, so DraftKings is a play that I've been in for a while. I'm looking, more long term, kind of capture some of that revenue from football season. And we saw a pretty decent day on DraftKings yesterday. Closed at 53.32, and it's spiking up again this morning on news that DraftKings and SimpleBet are launching a micro betting across DraftKings Sportsbook. So basically, they partnering up with SimpleBet. So somewhat of a little mini catalyst. It is gapping up right now. Also, yesterday I think they announced a virtual event where they're gonna have some guest speakers and stuff. So exciting news for DraftKings. And I think as we move closer into football season, we'll continue to see these little mini catalysts as they start announcing more and more partnerships. Recently we heard that they partnered with, I think, the Baltimore Ravens, and they usually do these sponsorships with a lot of these teams. So, and every time this news drops, you'll see a little bit of a spike in the price. But really, the play here for me is capturing the next two earnings, next two quarters, and riding this thing up to all-time highs, and then probably looking to get out and jump back in when it starts falling back down in February and March. So that's DraftKings. That's what's going on there. In terms of the meme stocks, I'd put that video out last week that the meme stocks seemingly have been running in 3-week patterns or 3-month patterns, like every quarter. And if the theory kind of plays out, they would start running this week, heading into September 9th. It seems like that's the case right now. I mean, we still got to let it all play out, but GameStop, AMC, even BlackBerry went a little green yesterday, along with CLOV, and they're all gapping up again today. Looks like AMC's kind of leading the pack once again at 37.48 after closing yesterday at 36.78. AMC probably made up the most gains. This is Friday and Monday. Today looks like it's continuing to head up. GameStop, kind of the same thing. Been climbing since Friday into yesterday. It continued to rise and currently gapped up about $2. In terms of CLOV, kind of the same thing. I mean, not as much. I mean, I guess coming off that low of Thursday pre-market, it's been continuing to rise up. but not nearly as much. Max Payne right now for this week, I think, is $8 from when we checked yesterday. Um, and to me, I really think if we can, right now we are in the money options wise. We're trading above Max Payne. Even just closing above Max Payne this week, I think would be a really big win because we haven't done that in a long time. But I'm expecting a little bit more. I really am. I'm feeling optimistic. Whether it be this week or next, I think we're ready for a little bit of a pop. Hey, goes in the house. What's up? Good morning. Joseph, what's up? Thank you again. And I'm gonna try to hit you up today before I get to work, man. I got out of football practice last night and I was dead tired. Kenneth, good morning. Kamal says the lowest dark pool volume, the more the price goes up. Happened in July and it's starting now. Yeah. Lisa, what's up? Good morning. Crypto Cello, top of the morning. What's up? Josh says market good, Clove is good. That's how I look at it. Maybe this is the next bull run since we've been running sideways for so long. Yeah, I mean, it's only a matter of time. And Josh, the other thing that I think is huge, like anybody who was on yesterday morning, I did point out that Jeffries made a purchase on Friday. And they're an analyst. I would imagine that they're going to end up coming out with some bullish news. But even bigger was Morgan Stanley with almost 1 million shares, like 820,000 share purchase. And these are people who had previously downgraded Clove. So again, Credit Suisse, I think the week before, maybe 2 weeks ago, a lot of these analysts have been purchasing the stock. And, I think getting some sort of analyst upgrades from a lot of these guys should be coming fairly soon, and that could serve as its own catalyst in itself. Also, one thing I noticed yesterday was the Spyder Healthcare Services ETF. I think it's XHS. Purchased about 250,000 shares. So, yeah, again, institutions are just continuing to kind of pile into this stock. This ETF picking it up is huge. And I think these analysts picking it up is huge. We've continued to see other institutional buying got for almost 3 weeks now. Either new purchases or people basically adding on. And again, mind you, that when we see these reports come out, it doesn't mean that it happened yesterday. A lot of these purchases took place a while back, which is even more bullish in my opinion, because that means they were willing to buy, maybe even when this was trading at 9 or 10 or higher, because the reporting dates are so far back, and they potentially could be adding on right now the same way we are buying the dip. So we'll just have to see how it plays out. But I mean, I think the more these institutions jump in, the less shares that are out there available, right? And then that's why we're seeing volume dry up. There's not as many shares being traded around, and low volume creates wider spreads, which in turn, when buying pressure comes in, is going to make the move even more violent. Present Minds, what's up? Good morning. Thank you for joining. Your pal Al says, do people in the chat not realize that it's 5 a.m. where Coach B is? Yeah, it's early, man. But I don't know. I just, it's weird. I've always been a late person. Like I would stay up late, watch TV, couldn't go to sleep, maybe get to bed at like midnight or later, and then wake up like a half hour before the market open, come do some reading real quick and start my day, day trading or whatever. But lately I've been going to bed earlier and getting up earlier. I just feel like I can get so much more accomplished in the morning when I'm the only person up in my house. And, lately it's like if I'm up, I'm just going to get on and start live streaming, especially if I already have some coffee in me. All right, let's see here. Lisa Buffett. Cuckoo Bird, what's up? Good morning. How recent are these buying? Is it that they bought like 45 days ago? It's a little bit different for each one. but they have to report by a certain date. So if we look at, for instance, I'll just pull up Morgan Stanley. Maybe it doesn't show on here. It's showing 8/23, but that's when they reported it. I'll have to look once we get offline. It is a while back though. They have a certain amount of days to report. Some of them could be more recently if they reported right away, but they do have a specific time frame that they get to report these buys. Sir Lucky Charms in the house. Good morning. Clovis Frank says, "How many hours do you sleep?" I usually try to get 8 hours, but I'll go to bed. Like it's a lot easier. See, I used to like put my kids to bed and then stay up, and try to get things accomplished then. But now I've just been going to bed when I put them to bed. So usually I'm asleep by 9. So what would that be? If I'm up at 4, 7 hours, and sometimes I'll maybe wake up at 5. Today I was up at 3:30 in the morning. I don't know. Once I wake up, if it's past 3 a.m., I just stay up. Pete, coach, yesterday's dark pool percentage over 50%. You know what? I don't think I pulled up chart exchange yesterday. Let me grab that. I know we had looked at it the morning before. So let's just look at all this data real quick. So we got chart exchange. If we come over here to stats, so yeah, dark pool percentage, 51% of the volume yesterday was in the dark pool. And if you look down here, I know I had mentioned this on my weekend update, but we've been trading at above 40% in the dark pool almost. I mean, every date that's on here, almost for an entire month, there's only been one day that was, right here. That was on August 11th. Otherwise, we've been above 40% almost every single day. And yesterday was above 50. We've only seen 2 other days like that, and that was the 12th and 13th. Looking at where we at volume wise right now, actually. 100,000. That's pretty typical for I think 5 a.m. recently, not for prior days. But if we look at Fintel, I'm gonna try to pull up the short volume for yesterday too, just because I didn't get a chance to take a look at it. I went to bed kind of early yesterday. Didn't watch anyone else's videos or anything like that. So looks like short volume yesterday wasn't that high. What are we looking at? 24%. And then if we include in the other exchanges, 29%. So that dropped off a lot. And that could be because shares are running out. Like if we look at Ortex, I know I've mentioned this a couple times already, but with the highest we've ever seen this is 61 million back in like early June. And that was only one day. After that, the highest we ever saw was like 58, I think, maybe 57. And my assumption is that, we're really getting towards the point of like there's no more shares out there, because you got to figure as more people are buying and not lending them out, whether it be institutions or retail, you're minimizing what they can actually like legally borrow. Obviously, they could still naked short the stock, but cost to borrow, definitely a huge increase there. Utilization, almost at 98 now, continuing to creep up. And these are the numbers we want to be looking at when we're trying to get these explosive movements out of the stock. Let's see here. Oh, Kamal's saying 99.4 utilization. Did I not refresh my my Vortex? Oh, yeah. I didn't have that refreshed. Utilization's at 99 this morning. Thank you, Kamal. Yeah, that makes a huge difference. I mean, that's it. There's nothing else there. So 58 million shares on loan is probably, right near the top now. And that's kind of what I've been assuming, like institutions buying, retail buying, eating up some of those shares. And if it's institutions who aren't willing to lend them out, then there's less shares available to borrow. And cost to borrow is, I guess right where I said, like right around 4%. So looking good. Joseph Scott, what's up? Good morning. Alex says the older you get, the earlier you wake up. Yeah, no, no shit, man. Pablo says PM volume is crazy low. Um, yeah, so right now in pre-market, we're only looking at 102,000. But I mean, when we've looked in the past, like I want to say starting last week or maybe the week before, I started tracking like where volume was at. And this is, 2 or 3 weeks ago around 6 a.m. So an hour from now, on some of the bigger days, we were looking at maybe 300,000. So right now we're at 100,000. That's not what we've seen on the days where we jumped up, above 20 million on the day. But it's not terribly bad. But also we could see some huge movement in low volume days. Skip, what's up? Good morning. Let's see here. Nathan Williams, good morning, Clove Nation. What's up? Yeah, so we looked at Ortex. We took a look at Fintel short volume, chart exchange. Only other one that we haven't really checked out is iBorrowDesk. And then I want to take a look at the option chain too, just to see what happened with the volume that came in yesterday. Pablo said it was much lower. Yeah, it did seem like there was a spike in volume that kind of came in right around 5 a.m. We started seeing some higher candles. So, yeah, um, that might have helped contribute to it, too. Let's zoom in here. But we are trading, 823. I think the high yesterday was what? 825. I mean, so if we can get above that right now and maybe continue to keep running, I would love to finish this week. I was texting Tarheel this morning when I was up, and I was just telling him like, man, I would love to just even see us close at like above 850, 875 or something, like get some more options in the money. And just show that we're finally past max pain and we're ready to make a move. So iBorrowDesk, let me see if it's even updated yet. Yesterday they were showing what ended the day with 250,000 on loan and no update yet. But if we go to the Fintel site, usually we could see it live. So it looks like there we go. Availability. So this is where we ended yesterday, around 250,000. This is the same data too, by the way, as you're seeing on iBorrowDesk. So you can get it free from iBorrow, but iBorrow doesn't start updating until a little bit later. Looks like 100,000 shares. I mean, there's not much there. So I would imagine we're we're getting to that point now where there's nowhere to go but up. I mean, obviously you're going to see some market manipulation with naked shorting is whether there's shares available or not, but it really starts to decrease their options when we get to this point where there's no shares to borrow. Utilization's at 99. I think we're really ready for an explosive move. Mike in DC says, good morning, coach. Why is your screen always blurry? Doesn't matter what device I use. Is it the quality of the stream? Maybe it might be on my end, unless it's something on your end. I know sometimes when I watch YouTube, it could be my stream quality too. Let me see what. Oh, looks like I'm getting. I don't know. But I know sometimes when I watch YouTube, you could set it to like, I can't the stream rate or the frame rate. You could change it. So it might be a setting in there too, or it could be my stream quality. if my stream quality is bad, let me know. If it's like that for everybody, because I'll figure something out to get my internet a little bit faster in here. Ooh, that's interesting, Pablo. He says that his September calls are price updating this morning. Now, I mentioned that before. Um, I don't see mine moving right now, but I have Leaps August 27th, and I'm going to pull up the September chain and see what that looks like right now, if it's actually updating. I had mentioned this back on the stream on the day that we went absolutely wild. And, um, the basically on those days when I woke up that morning, the option chain was actually like moving and updating as we were like in pre-market, which never happens. Usually if that happens, it's looking at a different option chain right now too. There we go. Um, Usually when that's happening, it almost seems like there's maybe some delta hedging going on. I don't know, but I've only seen it on some of the biggest move days for GameStop, and then on that one day with CLOV in early June. I don't see it updating right now, but we're also not seeing a lot of price movement. When the price moves, typically we'll see an options contract move in real time, like during market hours, but you never see that during pre-market. Cuckoo Bird says blurry here too. Tim says quality of video stream is really bad. Okay. Huh. Your pal Al says blurry today. Damn, I wonder if I should have restarted my computer this morning. Um Sorry guys. I will I gotta remember to do that every morning. Probably just Cuckoo Bird says my head looks like a clover. I gotta restart my I won't restart it right now, but tomorrow morning I'll make sure to restart my computer. I think that might have something to do with it. I just came on this morning and started rolling. Um Wonder if I have too much stuff running too. But yeah, so I don't see it updating right now, but it could be that we need to see some price movement and then we'll see it update. But yeah, I mean if you're seeing that Pablo, that's usually a good sign. From what I've seen at least. I could just be being superstitious. Um Justin says I sound grumpy. Sorry man, I'm still trying to wake up. Let's see. Um Bart says hedge funds are having YouTube throttle your feed. Nah, it's probably just me. Um, it's probably just me. I just gotta like reconnect and figure it out, and I gotta remember to do that every morning. Huh? The video of me is just what's blurry. All right, I don't know. I'll try to figure that out when we log off next time. But all right. Glad the mic sounds good though. All right, so just looking, well, it looks like we just dropped a little down to 818. So I just want to go back and look. Yeah, I still don't see the contract prices updating, but let's look at the option chain anyways. Um, for this week, and I have this delta gamma theta because I was working on something else this morning. My next Chalk Talk video, I was kind of just screwing around with it. So it does look like we saw an increase of calls, coming in for August 27th, which is going to help because those have the highest, gamma and delta for this week. And, like right now, these $8 calls are only, 31% hedged, assuming, or no, that's the bid. Why don't I have my delta on here? Let's see here. Delta add this in. I started screwing around with stuff this morning. All right, here we go. So 0.64 delta there, but the $8 call is, only about 4,000 more than puts. The 750 call is about 500 more calls. So we're actually 2 strikes in the money right now. If we can continue to move up and get above 850 and get above 9, we might really start to see some fuel coming in from the option chain. And, really the big date is September. 9 has 10,000. The $10 strike has 11,000 calls. And then the $12 strike is huge with 24,000 calls. So the option chain is still there. I mean, it's still a factor. We obviously lost a lot of fuel last week on those August 20th, last Friday, but still saw, a ton more call volume coming in. And I think what's good is that we're trading above max pain right now. We're trading in a zone where the calls are winning. The bulls are finally winning on the option chain. And, we haven't seen that in a while. Obviously, it's only Tuesday. We need to hold this. We need to stay above 8. We need to push into 850. We need to continue to see some increase in price. But I don't know. I'm feeling kind of good. I really am. Especially, I know myself and even Tarheel have talked in the past about, diverging from the other memes and being able to, start moving and not track with them. But when we're seeing GameStop start to move and AMC start to move and we're starting to move a little bit too, it just makes me feel like maybe it's time for another run. And I know I've been waiting for one for 3 months, so bring it on. Milan, what's up? Says, let's go. If CLOV, GME, and AMC are in a basket, do you think we need to look at GME and AMC's option chain since this could drive up all holdings in the basket? Nah, you know what? I don't know, like if it's, and this is all speculation, right? Like if it's that they're all being shorted through ETFs, which I've heard conflicting arguments on. We've also, but I also think that there's algorithms that have been set to basically track memes, and so they're buying memes up and shorting memes all at the same time too. So I think that plays into it as well. But in terms of the option chain, if we go back and look at, and I'll just go to the daily view real quick, and if we just look at June, the option chain, I think, is what made some moves more explosive than others, but it didn't cause the move. Like if we look in here at, GameStop, I'm looking at January right now. Let's go to June. June, and June. AMC ran from 11 to 72, almost like a 7 times move, whereas GameStop only ran from 135 to 350. So what, about a 2.5 times move? And then CLOV from $6 to 28, almost 4 times. So in terms of how large the move was, my speculation is, because I was watching these stocks at the time, CLOV had a loaded option chain, which got completely blown out on a gamma squeeze, and that's what got us up higher. Same thing with AMC. This was a gamma squeeze. Once it started running, the options chain took over, and their chain ended at 70. GameStop didn't have the same type of options going on, so it still got this explosive movement, which all of these memes experience. It's just once it triggered the option chain, then they all moved on their own rate, right? And so in terms of CLOV, if it's just a gamma squeeze that we end up experiencing, if we do, I would expect that, let's say all these memes start moving and the movement gets us into that gamma squeeze range, we could end up rolling all the way up to like 40, which would be like a 5 times move for us. If AMC's options chain isn't as loaded up, maybe they don't blow the whole thing out and run, which would be to, I think for AMC, let's see where their option chain ends. Looks like AMC's option chain right now goes all the way up. But I know that's just a weekly, so it only goes to 80. But if we go out to a monthly chain, there we go, 145. And I'm not as familiar with the numbers here. I know they've got a much larger float, so it takes more open interest to move the stock. But yeah, I mean, there's no guarantee that, all these stocks are going to blow out their options chain. I mean, GameStop, for instance, is they haven't seen that in a long time. That option chain goes all the way up to 800 or 680 here. There's some other dates that I know go up even higher, 950 even on the 2023s. So, I don't know if you'll necessarily see that for each stock because it all depends on, how loaded their chains are. Let's see here. Mark, what's up? Imagine if these people all purchased the stock instead of throwing their money away on options. I agree with you to a certain extent, Mark, for real. But I really don't think that this type of movement on the option chain is retail anyways. I mean, to see 10,000 calls at the $9 strike, or, purchase orders coming in, or volume coming in of like 3,000, contract orders. To me, that's bigger whales, and they're doing it strategically to try to fight the bears, because they could leverage their money a lot more. So even when I talk about this, and I'm glad you brought that up, I'm not saying, oh, we need a loaded option chain, let's all go out and buy options by any means. I'm just trying to show what type of fuel there is in the option chain, because that type of money, like if you look at, again, like if you're some big some big whale that wants to come in and try to kick off a gamma squeeze, let's say you bought 1,000 calls at the $10 strike, that's only costing you $4,000. $4,000 is a lot of money to me, but for someone that's playing with millions, they could throw down $4,000 here, $6,000 here, $9,000 here, and $16,000 here. For less than $50,000, maybe. They just helped, load up this chain for this week for the potential gamma squeeze. And those are the people that I think are really the ones losing, but at the same time, that's not a lot of money to them. So they're the ones that are coming in and loading the chain up. That's my assumption, at least. I don't think retail's coming in and buying up those. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I think retail, like I bought some August 20th options last week, just so that I could have some skin in the game in case the gamma squeeze did kick off. And when it didn't, I ended up going in and buying some Octobers now. So now I got some options that are, some short-term options that'll carry me through the next month and a half. I still have my shares. I'm not doing nothing with those, but I always like to have a little bit of call options, just because when it does kick off, for me at least, I could leverage my money a little bit more and make a little bit more, off the violent moves when they come. Let's see. Lisa says, remember to hit the like and subscribe button. Thank you, Lisa. I appreciate everything. JJ, what's up? Good morning. Appreciate you dropping in. Big Daddy Roro, what's up? Stars says, good morning, coach. If this kicks off, when do you think it will take off? It's hard. I mean, in terms of a day, I have no idea. I don't have a crystal ball or anything like that. But just looking at like the overall option chain, which I think is what's gonna give us the most violent movement once we get past certain strikes, I would say 15. Getting the am I on CLOV? Yeah, I am. Looks like we lost a lot at the 15 call. Yes, too. I think yesterday we saw over 100,000 in open interest there, and there's only 60,000. I mean, don't get me wrong, 60,000 is still a lot, but we saw a huge decrease yesterday. Yesterday's stream, I'm almost positive there was 100,000 in open interest at the 15 strike. There's a ton here at the 10. There's a ton at 15. There's a ton at 12. To me, we need to get the stock price above 15, and that's when all of these options, no matter what date they're at, will start to get higher and higher deltas, which will push the stock forward and start getting all these other ones in the money and really kick things off. I don't know if there's enough here I mean, I'm no expert in this by any means, but I don't know if there's enough here past 30 to really propel us to 40. That's where the, unfortunately, because we've been trading so low, the weeklies don't go past 17 right now. So we're really depending on monthly contracts. And I just don't know if there's enough in there to really propel this thing all the way to blow it out to 40. But I could be totally wrong. But I think if we get past 15, there's enough there to push us to 30. I really do. D, what's up? Good morning. Joseph with the super sticker. Right on, Joseph. I appreciate it. Always appreciate everything, and your support really means a lot. Milan says, Coach, have you seen Mark Cuban's recent tweets to SEC Gary Gensler? Love Mark for being a voice of retail. Yeah, I mean, he was I remember him doing an AMA on Wall Street Bets the day after Robinhood turned off the buy button, and kind of being there, sticking up for retail, gave some great advice to a lot of people. And I did see a lot of that Twitter interaction yesterday, posted in the CLOV subreddit and the Super Stonks subreddit. And, I think that helps. I mean, when you have guys like Mark Cuban, get out and be vocal, it just draws more attention, right? Because now it's your MSNBCs and your Fox Business and some of the other big media outlets. Now they need to they can't ignore it. And if they're not ignoring it, then all of a sudden Gary Gensler can't ignore it, right? He wasn't ignoring it anyways, though. It sounded like they were going back and forth a little bit. Joseph says, thanks for all you do, Coach. No problem, man. I mean, I appreciate you guys coming in, and thank you again for that super chat. I really appreciate it. Philip says, let's set those sales to 50 plus. Yeah, I mean, I'm not looking to sell at all until we get way above there. And I mean, I've said already, slow upward momentum, slow upward growth. If that's what we see, where it's like we're just stair stepping, I won't even sell at 50. Explosive growth, where in a matter of days we move from 8 to 50. Yeah, I'll probably be taking profits for sure. Xander says, does the amount of open interest get influenced by the float? Less float will exist in future due to what they did with warrants. No, so the open interest here is entirely just, I mean, if I go in and buy one call contract today and nobody sells any, tomorrow it'll be 14,565. So open interest is just the amount of calls that are there. The float, though, depending on how large the float is, and more so the free float, will really, help dictate how much we'll move when we get contracts in the money, right? So like a 500 million float, like the size of AMC's, would be a lot harder for 14,000 call contracts to really move. They might need 30,000 or 40,000. We have a smaller float. Then you look at GameStop, on the other hand, much smaller float. I think it's like 70 or 80 million. So even something like, and they have much lower volume. So like even for GameStop, just getting to like 170 and getting 2,300 calls in the money is going to have a much more violent move coming out of it, when you start seeing delta hedging coming for that. So float size does determine kind of, how much the options chain, the buying that happens with delta hedging, will have an impact. But it has nothing to do with the actual open interest. Your pal Al says, let's go. Rick says, if it pops, I'll sell and rebuy for sure once it comes back to earth. Yeah, I mean, I've been pretty open about that. I mean, I'm not trying to say, I'm selling my CLOV. I don't believe in this company anymore or anything like that. I love this company, and I think that it's gonna be, a millionaire maker down the road. Like, I think my big thing is just from a trading aspect. Like, I sold some in June, and I'm glad I did, because then it gave me more dry powder to buy these dips. And if we pop up again, anytime you get a drastic move, that's not to say we can't go higher, though. I want to make that clear too. Like, if all of a sudden we gamma squeeze to 45 or 50, there's still a possibility that now shorts really get pressured to cover and we explode upwards of like 100. You look at the first GameStop run, and there was some gamma squeezes and short squeezes all mixed in. Like, this thing ran from 48, and I could even zoom out a little bit more, and it's hard to see because of how violent it was, but it went from like what, $20 and gamma squeezed up to 40, and then from 40 the next week gamma squeezed up to 80, and once it got there, did a lot of this, these gap ups and stuff, like we closed the day at 150, gapped up the next day to 350, and it was even higher in pre-market, and the option chain didn't even go that high at the time. So I mean, again, if we end up getting to a situation where we gamma squeeze up to 50, I don't know that I'm necessarily just going to sell out completely, because there's still that potential for all of a sudden the short squeeze factor, right? And now shorts start covering, and now we move from 50 to 200 overnight or something like that. It's potentially a possibility. All I'm saying is more like, if we gamma squeeze up to 50, I'm going to be really close with my finger on the sell button in case we start falling back down, because I think everybody has seen now, if you were in on the first run, if you were in on AMC, any of these stocks, once they run up off a gamma squeeze, as people start taking profits and you fall back below that number, now all of a sudden you get the reverse of a gamma squeeze, which would have you coming down pretty violently too. But I'm definitely going to be holding out to see if the short squeeze kicks off. Because that's when we could start moving from, like I said, 50 to 100, 100 to 300, anything like that. Let's see here. Ago just texted me a second ago. I want to see what's going on. Oh yeah, it does look super blurry. Man, I don't know what's going on with that. That might be my computer. Tomorrow I'll restart this thing. I'm sorry guys for the blurriness today. I got to get that figured out. If anything, I'm just thinking it's my computer needs to be restarted. Big Daddy Roro says, "Hey coach, now that the warrants are finally done with, what if any effect are you looking for on their price action for CLOV?" If anything, I think that, maybe warrants gave short sellers an opportunity to buy into the warrants without buying into CLOV, as a way to kind of like get back some shares. I also think that, the dilutive effect that warrants could have had gave to the bear thesis, and all that's gone now, right? So at this point, it is what it is. We don't have that kind of hanging over our shoulders, and it's just, buying pressure is going to make the stock move up. But I think getting the warrants behind us is going to be pretty bullish. Ken says, "I grew my holdings almost 40%, selling at high and rebuying in with more powder to play with, but timing has its risks." Yeah, absolutely. Can you recap some of the institutional buys? Yeah. So I mean, just recently let me pull this back up. So, and I'll refresh this just to see if anything came in this morning. All right. So, this was yesterday. Basically the the S&P Healthcare Services ETF bought up 260 shares. Morgan Stanley almost 1,820,000 shares. They're an analyst. Jeffries only 25,000 in calls. 183 shares. That looks odd to me, but either way, another analyst, right? And then we've seen some other huge buys in recent weeks, like Adam Investors 208,000. Parallel, that's a put actually, 80,000 in puts. But I mean, there's been a ton in here. There really has been. We've just seen all kinds of institutional buying mixed in with some selling too. But I think getting included in that ETF is going to be big. Some ETFs do loan out shares to short sellers, though. That's something to be aware of. But I do think that some of these institutions that are coming in to buy are probably getting in not only because they see that the stock is undervalued, and they've been the ones contributing to it getting hammered down. So they got in at the prices they wanted. We'll see them kind of change their ratings on the stock, and then that'll get the stock moving in the opposite direction. Anyone who's getting into this stock for the short squeeze potential, because you also have hedge funds that compete with each other, right? So you're gonna have some hedge funds that smell blood in the water, and now they want to jump in to try to eat up those shares and make money off the violent moves. They're not going to be loaning their shares out, would be my assumption. They're going to try to eat up that float too. So there's no real way to know which institutions are going to be loaning shares out and which ones aren't. But my assumption also, just based off Ortex data, utilization right now is at 99. And we're seeing shares on loan at 58 million. So we, at one point in June, I saw 61 million here. I don't think there's 3 million shares left with utilization at 99, which tells me that we're probably, looking at less shares available this time around. And that could be also because retail came in and bought it. Charles Schwab asking for 4 times the price of CLOV to buy 1 share. Okay. Charles Schwab needs 4 times buying power. Champion Vibe said last night that it looks like consolidation may be moving us into a new phase. His stream is labeled, and you can go right to his analysis on CLOV. I'll go check it out. I've been trying to stop by his stream in the evenings. It's just I got busy last night, but he's a super sharp dude. He's really on top of his stuff. Really glad that I came across his channel. I've been watching him as much as I can and learning some stuff from him too. So I'll definitely try to check that out on my break today. And Lisa, that's a great point. Says think about your personal exit strategy before we rock it. Let's see. So yeah, I mean, and Lisa, that's a great point. I know we've covered that on this channel before, like on the stream, but just from my own experience, like, and even just being in day trades that just took off and went absolutely wild, but also being involved in GameStop, being involved in that first CLOV run, it's like when it happens, you're going to see some insane amounts of money in your account. You got to kind of have a plan. Like, is there a certain dollar amount that you're going to be happy with? Maybe you want to take a little bit off the table to cover your cost basis in case we fall back down. Maybe you want to hold to see how. I mean, everyone's going to have their own strategy, but make sure you know what your strategy is and you know what you're going to do if we hit 40, if we hit 50, if we hit 100, or shit, even when we get to 20, which I think is going to come a lot sooner than people think. The Waffle Maker says, have you experienced lag with Thinkorswim at market open? Nah, I never have. The only type of lag I've ever really seen was with Thinkorswim trying to do a live stream, but then I went and bought some RAM, and I've never had any issues with it. I've seen Webull and TradingView when I was trying to use those for a little bit, and I've noticed some like weird stuff in after hours where it seemed like I wasn't getting accurate prices, but Thinkorswim's always pretty much been spot on for me, at least. Ego says all my trading groups are hanging back today. Seems there's a bit of uncertainty in the market. Yeah, so like the S&P was, let me pull that up. I put DraftKings up this morning just because I was trying to I saw they were spiking up a little bit, but the SPY went on and hit 448 over here in pre-market after closing at 447, but now it's heading back down, and looks like it's starting to get back down to where it closed. So it did look like it was going to gap up. Now it's coming back. And it looks like the House Rules Committee is meeting today on budget and infrastructure. That may have a little bit to do with it. I know sometimes whenever you get like any sort of financial news coming out, you see knee jerk reactions. There's also been a lot of speculation about, the market potentially, ready to descend, like the bull runs over. We'll just have to see how things play out. DJ TARDIS, what's up? Good morning. Thanks for coming in here. Nathan says CLOV needs to hit $545 for me to get that 300,000 Lambo. Let's do it, Nathan. Yeah, no, Lisa, I think it's right, and it's. I really appreciate when you give your insight in here for real. But I do think that's important that people do that. 1 second. All right. With my trading 212 account in the UK, I definitely noticed lag on market open when CLOV popped. Huh. I didn't really notice it, but you know what? If it happened yesterday, you guys know, like I signed off like right when the right at the bell, because yesterday was my kid's first day of school, and I may end up doing that again today, or at least by like 6:45, just because I want to help kind of get them out the door and make sure that they're all dressed and ready to go. They got their breakfast, all that. And then because it's only today will be their second day of school, but after that, I kind of like I let my son make his own breakfast yesterday. Just kind of watched him do it and make sure he was all good, and all that. All right, Div by Zero, thanks for stopping in again. I appreciate you. Holiday Option, what's up? Good morning. All right, let's take a look. So it does look like, like right here around 520, the SPY started heading down, and that could even be what started drawing CLOV down too, right in here. But all the memes kind of popped a little bit this morning, and not a ton of volume on GameStop by any means. CLOV volume right now is at 200,000. Yeah, that's a lot lighter than what we've seen in recent days. I want to say 6 a.m.'s been right around 300,000 recently, so we are off a little bit lower volume this morning. TNXP, any take on pharma stocks? I mean, I know, like, Pfizer was the big one yesterday. TNXP popped. It actually didn't move too much though, but Pfizer got that approval yesterday and jumped up a little bit. Looks like it's trading back lower now. Yeah, no, I haven't really been paying too much attention other than the stocks I've been tracking, which is AVXL, BNGO, and then I've been watching ATOS, even though I never got back in yet. But those are the only two that I've really been paying attention to, pharmaceutical wise. What kind of breakfast does the son of Coach B eat? I mean, when I'm making breakfast, I'll make whatever. But yesterday, I got these little mini hash browns, like the little tiny ones, and just had him pop them in like the little air fryer, and showed him how to do that, just so that he can make something. Today I told him we're gonna, pull the toaster out and have him get some waffles going. Or pour a bowl of cereal. I mean, it is what it is. It's like they got to be out of the house by 7 a.m. to get to school, and I don't have to leave till 7:15, but they got to leave it, or actually 7:30, but they got to leave it at 7 a.m. So by 6:45, he's got to have his breakfast ready to roll. Alexander, what's up? Good morning. Nathan says bought 100 shares of TNXP at 120. Month later, I sold it for $1. Looks like it's down even more now. Yeah, I don't know much about that stock at all. Might see some sympathetic movement in pharma. I will refrain from going in at this point. My PXLW went up 27% yesterday. I need to start getting some stock tips from Lisa, man. Interesting that the FDA approves Pfizer vaccine yesterday, and the FDA commissioner is now the chairman of the board of Pfizer. Yeah, I kind of someone sent me a text about that over the weekend, and I was kind of like tripping out off that too. Like, hey, did you see this? The person at the FDA that is approving these vaccines is used to be on the Pfizer board or vice versa or something, and that was over the weekend before they announced the approval, and then bam, they announced the approval of Pfizer yesterday, and it's like, um, I don't know. I don't even know where to begin with that stuff. What's BlackBerry doing? Yeah, so another, they all spiked yesterday. And I don't even know what the short interest is on BlackBerry, if it's a short squeeze play or just a meme play or I mean, BlackBerry, I know I've mentioned it on here before that BlackBerry is a stock that I've been into in the past, and I was actually part of on the first run up, but I was in it well before the run up, and it wasn't because it was a short play. I don't think it ever was. It just got caught up in all the meme madness because it was highly talked about on Wall Street Bets at the time. Ego says I'm watching GNLN this morning. Let me see here. GNLN. Okay. Kenneth says, "What's your day job?" Thought you were an all dayer online. So I'm a teacher, a high school teacher, and so I was, we had been on summer break for the longest time, so I was home all day long, and even before summer break, I mean, in California with COVID, we spent all last year doing remote learning, and then the second half of the prior year doing remote learning. But we're back to school now, so yeah, I just started having to go back in to work. And school starts this year. Next year, it's actually going to start at 8:30, which I'm excited about because that means I'll be able to leave even later. But I worked right down the street from my school, so I could typically leave my house at 7:30 and be in my classroom, by 7:45. I mean, it's pretty quick for me to get there. But yeah, so next year school starts at 8:30. I'll be able to run the stream probably till about 8, like I was during the summertime. Soon to be Dr. Coach B. Yeah, so I'm actually working on my doctoral right now. Actually in the dissertation phase, which has been pretty crazy. Been taking up a lot of time, but I don't know. I mean, I enjoyed this so much. That's why I've kind of like, I'll do the morning stream. I'm going to be watching the stock market anyways, but in the afternoons, it's after work. It's pretty much just working on my dissertation and then football practice when I could make it. That's another thing. I mean, I know I've mentioned it on here before, but I also coach high school football. But this season in particular, I kind of went to more of like a part-time status, just because I'm doing the dissertation and it's hard to juggle both. But I'll be back coaching full-time next year. Fred, what's up? Good morning. Zeke for Bleak, what's going on? Um, Kenneth says you're a saint. Um, right on. I appreciate it, man. Let's see. Can you live stream all day with a GoPro on your head? It would be fun, and I really would love to do this, is actually teach a class about like the markets. Not so much like I was thinking about this one day. I'd have to write up the curriculum on it and stuff, but I think it'd be cool for high school kids if they all got like a paper trading account and not so much day trading, but have them like pick stocks, maybe write DD on it, like figure out why they want to get into a long term investment, and then let them buy some shares with a certain amount of paper money, and kind of see how far it goes over the course of the year. Then as you start to learn about maybe like technicals and things like that, start getting into like some swing trading strategies and just letting them learn different types of investment strategies. I think that's huge. I wish I knew that stuff in high school. So at some point, I'd love to be teaching that. Al says, say hi to Andrew Toy. He's watching in the Clover boardroom. I don't know if he's watching today. I heard the video quality looks bad. It might be too bad for Andrew. Hopefully I'll get this stuff figured out. I'm almost positive it's because I didn't reboot my computer. Like Thinkorswim takes up a whole lot of memory, and it's been running on my computer basically for like the last 3 days. I haven't restarted my computer. So I think just because of the overall like how much memory it takes up, I just have to restart it every morning, and I forgot to today. Let's see. Andrew's in the house. What's up, Andrew? My friend did that in 7th or 8th grade, and this smart kid in the class picked Tesla. Okay, yeah. No, I think it would definitely be cool to do something like that. It's something that I've been considering, just trying to figure out how to, put the curriculum together and make it an elective class, and then see if my school would pick it up. But I would love to teach something like that. Wish I learned anything about money in high school. Biggest flaw in the system is not teaching people how to invest or manage tax liability. No, I agree. I mean, and there is a lot of kids out there, especially I think with the pandemic, but even before then, I remember I had a kid the very first year, because I just started teaching high school about 6 years ago. And the very first year I started teaching, there was a kid in my class. I was sitting there and kind of going through my portfolio and getting in and out of some stocks, like at brunch in between classes. And the kid came up to my desk to ask about something else. And he's like, "Oh, man, you invest, coach?" And then he pulled out his phone and he showed me Robinhood. I didn't even know what Robinhood was, but he had like, $200 in an account, and he was doing his own investing and trading, and me and him ended up talking stocks almost every day, like right after class. And I'd love to know how he's doing now with his investing and everything. But there are kids, but I think like even more so during the pandemic, when a lot of kids were home, even more of them got into it, and maybe learning the hard way, kind of school of hard knocks part, where you're learning money, doing, making bad decisions. But I think it would help to be taught that, at a young age, and learn the right way of doing things too, or at least, learning all the tools before putting real money into the market. Um, Robert, what's up from Sacktown? What's going on? Jason, good morning. New prerequisite for being on the football team is owning some CLOV shares. Oh, Lisa, that would be awesome. Yeah, because I did that recently at my school too. The second year I was there, I created like a broadcast journalism course that I did basically from finding curriculum that was pre-existing and just altering it a little bit. So I mean, that would be awesome if there's something out there, and I just have to tweak it a little bit and make it fit, whatever it needs to be. Um, Damn, I would love to. That always makes it easier. Take the guesswork out. Bad decisions is my middle name when it comes to stocks. I know the feeling. I know the feeling. SRT's in the house. Good morning. Kenneth, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate it. Always nice. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. SRT says hit that like button. So it looks like we're at what 6:07 a.m. So we got about 23 minutes, until market open. We did get kind of drawn down a little bit all the way to 813, which is kind of where we closed at yesterday at 812, but now we're bouncing back up. It does seem like we're getting some momentum, but even yesterday, like when we gapped up a little bit, we started gapping up in pre-market. We came down and filled the gap before rallying. So at the same time, while it is nice to see a nice gap up in pre-market, it may be one of those things we're trading right here around 818, gap fill to 812 and then rally again, Let's see here. Ego says Caleb and Pablo are trading twins. We still got to get the inverse Pablo ETF off the ground. Let's see here. I'm hoping AMC can make a nice jump, and 33% is going from AMC to Clover for 3 to 5 years. Yeah, I was. That's the other thing I was texting Tarheel this morning because I made that video the other night about how potential for like these meme stocks to get moving between now and September 9th. And I talked about how I wanted to like buy in, get some AMC calls because I'm already holding a lot of CLOV and GameStop. I have been for a while, but I wanted to throw a little in AMC just to see if they'd make a push. Kind of place a little wager that they'll make a push between now and September 9th. And I never bought the calls, and then they had the big day yesterday, and it looked like they were gapping up again today. And I was like, man, I wish I would have just bought some calls on it, but I never did. Instead of red hats or red jerseys when practicing opponent scout, they have to wear short celery. You could be like the water boy. I'll ask my kids. They're 36, 34, 33, 32, 31. Wow. That's 5 kids. Okay. Right on, Lisa. I got 2 and I'm done. Hey, degenerates in the house. What's up, Degen? Man, so it just reminds me, I was Degen, I got to get you to come on here one day and join us on. I don't think you've never been on yet, but I'd love to have you come on and just shoot the shit one day. Tomorrow, Ghost will be on. Before I forget, you just reminded me, and I also put a link again today in the stream to Ghost's channel. He's trying to, build that channel up. He hasn't posted anything on there yet, but if you guys want to go drop him a follow, me and him are working on something that we're going to start here shortly in the next, probably a couple weeks. Something that me and him have been talking about and we're working on. So if you haven't already, go down in the description and go give Ghost a follow. But nice to see that BTFD's in the house. Sending vibes for your first W this weekend with the team. Bro, so I don't know. I know some of you guys are in Northern California, but our schedule is loaded this year. Anyone who wants to follow along this year, and again, I know I already said it. I've kind of become a part-time coach just for this year because I'm working. I was at practice yesterday, but I've had to step away a little bit this year just because of my school schedule. So luckily we have some other great guys on our staff that have been able to, basically, fill my shoes and do a great job at it. So, but our schedule this year for anyone who's into high school football, I think, so we're playing, we just scrimmaged De La Salle last Friday night. We're playing Sarah coming up this Friday, then Folsom. Was one of the tops. Basically, Sarah's one of the top schools in San Mateo. De La Salle is one of the top schools in Northern California. Folsom's the top team in Sacramento. Then we're playing Wilcox, McClymonds, who's the top team in Oakland. That's our and then Valley Christian, who's one of the top teams in San Jose. So basically, our first 5 games, I think 4 of them are ranked in the top 50 in the state, and I think 3 are in the top 10 in the state. So we got a pretty rough schedule ahead of us, but we scheduled that way because we're one of the top teams in Northern California too. And we want to give ourselves a nice preseason challenge. So really looking forward to this Friday night. All right, enough about high school football. Thomas, what's up? Hey, Thomas, I'm glad you came on. I've been wanting to. Um, I never realized until I was watching Tarheel stream last week that you're. And I hope I'm saying this right. Is it T.O. Camel Toe from Twitter, which I think L Train pointed out as uncle, right? So that's the way I always read it, but I didn't know that was you coming in here every day. Always enjoy you on Twitter, man. Um, all right, DeGen, I'm gonna hit you up afterwards. After the stream today, we'll figure something out. Um, can you imagine getting all those kids to after school activities? Not at all. Like I said, it's hard as hell with just two. Oh man, that's crazy. Uh, let's see. Don't look now, but the monthly doji just turned green. Nice. That looks that I am gonna look now. Let's see where we're at here. Do I even have a 1 month up here? I don't have a monthly up here. I'll check it out later. Brooke says Alhambra's my home team. That's right. I forgot you said you're in Martinez. That's right. All right. Cool. Ross Lowe says love the schedule. SPRT wants to smash more. Is that one starting to move? SPRT is man, I've been looking at that stock for so long. People were commenting on my CLOV videos, like you got to take a look at at SRT. You got it SPRT. Everybody's been telling me to take a look at SPRT, and I know that if we look at the daily on this, it had this spike back in March, and then it was coming down here around $2, and wow, I mean it's up to 11 right now. I've just always it's easier to get into a stock. Okay, it spikes up to 9 and then get in like down here at 2. But when you start seeing it back up above 9 and up above now at 11, it's like, I don't want to chase. And so I never even really did my due diligence on it or even looked into it. But man, I wish I would have listened. That thing's been running. Mansoor, what's up, coach? No ladder attacks in the pre-market for the second day. The tides are turning. I think it is. I think they're kind of running low on ammunition. At least legal ammunition. Uh, I mean, there's always the naked short selling that can happen, but I think they're running low on shares to borrow. And that's a good thing. I mean, that's going to get us closer to getting some explosive movement, I think. Let's see. Ross Lowe says Sarah's in the top 100 in the nation. Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're absolutely right. BTFD says borrow fees 2% at Schwab for CLOV. End of May vibes. Let's get it. I know Ortex this morning was showing cost to borrow right now on the average was like around 3%. Let me see if that updated so far. No, it looks like it's still on average like 3.4%. So it's rising everywhere. Co-creators in the house. Good morning, co-creator. What's up? Thomas says looks at the short info though. Look at the short info on SPRT. Yeah, no, I've looked at it. And I've seen it like it's got insane cost to borrow last time I looked. It's got like, utilization, all that stuff. And it was just like, man, I should have, I don't know. Maybe I'll look at, maybe it's still got potential right now. I don't know anything about it other than everybody was saying, check out SPRT. And I've just been like so busy with everything that I've mentioned that it's like, it's hard to really dig in on another stock, but I just wrote it down again. That's probably the 10th time I wrote it down during the stream. But maybe today on my lunch, I'll do some digging on it. Your pal Al says, Coach B Stocks, you're gonna need like 100 moderators for when Clove moons. The chat is gonna blow up for sure, like with like 100,000 or more people. I know. You know what? I gotta. Maybe tomorrow morning when we jump on, because I've been meaning to add some more mods in here too. So maybe tomorrow morning because I gotta pull up the YouTube box to do it. Right now, I'm just looking straight through my streaming account. But I do need to add some mods. You're right. I haven't done that in a while. Thoughts on vaccine drug Novavax? Altrade says it gives him $40 per stock return weekly. Not sure what you mean by that. Unless he's like selling calls on it or something like that. I'm not sure what it means. It gives him $40 per stock return weekly. I'll have to check that out. Your pal Al says T minus 14 minutes to market open. Yeah, we're almost there. And like I said, guys, I'm probably gonna sign off a little bit early again today. And then moving forward, I'll continue the stream, for a half hour past market open. But and that's the other reason I've been getting up early, because I really enjoy, kind of kicking it on here, having my coffee, hanging out with everybody. But because school's back and I think eventually I'll kind of get my schedule down with traffic and getting the kids out of the house. But right now, while we're kind of transitioning and it's only their second day of school, I'm probably gonna sign off a little early today again. So that's why I've been trying to start at 5 a.m. and just sign off a little bit early. Let's see here. Yeah, it must be selling covered calls. That's what I was thinking. Matt says, "Why do I suck so much with options?" Um, I mean, without knowing exactly what you're doing, I mean, options are rough. They're risky. You really got to know what you're getting into when you do them. It's always best to give yourself more time. While short-term options can be enticing because they're cheap for a reason, right? But I've actually been doing some videos for anyone who's interested. A series on like options basics that I'm almost done with. I'm gonna record a video today talking about theta, and then probably tomorrow getting into Vega, and that'll cover all the Greeks. I kind of went in, like, started from the beginning on volatility, the basics on calls and puts, and just trying to like lay out like the basic groundwork. And then after that, I'm going to start getting into strategies, like different things you could do besides just buying a call, because there's definitely way less riskier ways to play options that you can really become profitable with, like even beyond just selling calls and selling puts, like different strategies that we can start getting into that I think would really help, that could bring in some decent returns. And so that's what I want to start getting into and talking about, but I wanted to cover the basics first. So if that's something you're interested in, or you want to learn about, it's in my playlist I just created. I think it's called Options Basics, and it should be on the homepage of my YouTube channel. And I got 2 more videos that I'm planning on making. Like I said, I was trying to get through the Greeks first, and so Theta and Vega are the last 2 I'm going to cover, and then after that, I'll really just start hammering away and making videos on the strategies, because that's what I have fun about, is talking about the different strategies. But I kind of feel like I should lay out the basics first before we get into it. Let's see. To teach teens how to do DD, that's the cool part that evolves into lifelong skills. Yeah, that's what I was thinking too, Michael. I skipped Clovis Frank's thing too. Let's see. So he said I saw co-creator came in, and then I skipped across. Did that when I was in school. Unfortunately, that was during the 2008 crisis, and everyone lost over 30%, and everyone became disparaged towards stocks. Yeah, but more so to Michael's point, what I was thinking was, if you kind of make it a project and have kids pick a stock, And you're not just going to buy the stock. You need to explain why, and almost like come up with your sales pitch or your DD, right? And then, look through everything, the fundamentals, and really break it all down and approach things from an investment standpoint. And then as the class goes on, the school year goes on, and you're watching your investment, which is like, watching a turtle race. If you're really just invested, I mean, it's so slow to look at every day. Now you start coming into class and you start going over technicals and looking for like more trading opportunities in stocks, and learning about volatility and volume and all the other things that go into the trading side of it. And then maybe even, who knows, I don't know how the class would go, but I'd even get into day trading, at one point, like, because I mean, you can go in and paper accounts, and like Thinkorswim allows you to dial it back and pull up given days. And again, I think if kids can learn what they're good at and maybe find out that day trading's not for them, maybe they'll never try with real money and lose their real money, or maybe they find out that there's something that they're good at, whether it be swing trading or picking undervalued plays, or finding long-term growth opportunities. But I think all of that would be things that kids should learn early on. Really do. Cram in a few more live stream minutes with your dash cam footage. Oh, that would be awesome. You guys could like watch me as I'm stuck in traffic, as I pull up to the school. Let's see. Short-term options equal FDs. Yeah. Nah, I still play FDs sometimes. I know I've talked about it on here too, but it's more of those things where, like, for instance, last week, August 20th, had the potential to be a big week, right? So on Monday, I went in and grabbed some FDs, and if you look at like the way these things are priced, just so anyone who's wondering what an FD is, like, I wouldn't do it for this week because we don't have that loaded gamma squeeze potential. Doesn't mean nothing can happen this week, but last week you could have went in and bought, the $17 strike for $1, or I mean, shit, even the $14 strike for $1. Even then, maybe, but it's so cheap. Why not grab 10, spend $20? As long as you realize that I'm only grabbing 10 and spending $20, and that $20 might burn up. Sure, $20 can buy you 2 shares of CLOV, but at the same time, that $20, if the gamma squeeze happens, that's the whole FD thing. If the gamma squeeze happens, that $20 could turn into 20 grand, and so I always like to carry a little bit of those on me. But it's just a matter of managing that. I mean, you see people, for every post on Wall Street Bets where somebody turned a YOLO on FDs into $2 million, there's probably 5,000 posts where people blew up their account doing that same dumbass shit, So I always like to play FDs, but I'll just, again, with a very, 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 very minimal amount of money in comparison to what my account is. Just out, Kathy Woods doubles down on DraftKings. Yeah, we saw some exciting news on DraftKings this morning too. Let's see. They announced I think like a micro betting thing with Simple Bet, and so that was like the big news this morning. And then Kathy Woods, I know, is big on it too. That's probably going to drive some more in. I sold some of my DraftKings on that last spike. I think I got in at like 46, and when it jumped up to like 52, I jumped out. And then I reopened my position the other day when it fell back down right around 50. But now I'm looking to kind of roll for the long haul, at least getting into like January. But again, kind of my same strategy I play with everything. Like, yeah, I'm getting in DraftKings right now to see if it can go up and test all-time highs and move higher. But if all of a sudden it spikes to 70 tomorrow, I'll jump out and get back in on the next dip. But I guess my overall goal with that DraftKings play is to hold leading up to earnings in February, where it's really going to price in. Now, if we're trading well above moving into earnings, I'm not going to hold into earnings. But I do expect that earnings are going to be really good pricing in this the entire football season on that February date. She's been going in hard at Burry. Those two are starting a stock war. Yeah, Burry's been real down on the markets right now. Really down, making a lot of bearish bets. I like the idea of using equities like real estate, sell puts to scale in, hold and sell covered calls as income. Yeah, that's like basically running that wheel strategy. Um, and I've even thought about doing that on like, again, I've been talking about how like with CLOV, if we see like some ridiculous spike on a gamma squeeze or something where we run up 400 or 500%, getting out some of my position, taking profits, and I'll probably end up selling puts to scale back in. Just to the only thing about selling puts is I think if you're gonna sell puts to scale in on something, you kind of want to already have a position established as well. And the reason I say that is, if you're selling puts, more than likely it's because you think that you're bullish on a stock, right? And if you only sell puts and you don't have a position established already, now if it takes off, you're getting left in the dust, right? But I mean, if you look at like CLOV, shit, you could have been selling puts for the last month and a half down here, selling $7 puts, 750 puts, and maybe got assigned twice, but otherwise just collecting weekly premiums. So definitely a great strategy. It's just one that I haven't really talked about on here because I just want to cover the basics and fundamentals first, because I think if you don't understand how options work, to just go in and do something like that where you're putting up a ton of cash behind it, you really got to understand, how the whole thing goes. Sort of like a rent without tenants. Absolutely. Let's see. Even have a competition between area schools, have them present DD to an audience. Dude, that would be dope. That would be awesome. Michael, I think you're on to something. Even an after school club. I'm gonna try to get something like that going for real. This idea directly interrupts reading Great Gatsby, which is clearly more important. Let's see. We had a stock market simulation class when I was in 11th grade. Tech was shit back then, so we legit had to find stocks in the paper. Okay, man, there's the opening bell too. Do people at your school know you stream? Some people, some of my like coworkers that I'm also friends with, and people that I've been, that I've known for years, they know I've been doing this. I don't know if like my principal or anybody does. But I was thinking more so not like interrupting my current class, but actually like presenting the curriculum to the school and saying like, hey, this is something that I think the students would be interested in. I think it'd benefit them, and I'd love to teach this class, and seeing how that goes. Would make taking sick days complicated. Oh, that's funny. Let's see here. Eileen says, what do you think about GOCO? Is it a CLOV competitor thinking about opening a small position? I don't know anything about it. I just got to tell you the truth. So we just got our little mini gap fill, and now we're moving a little bit lower off it. What did we actually open at? So we opened at, looks like 816, which was only a 4-cent gap up from yesterday. But we did come down and fill it now. So there should be nothing holding us back. It's time to run. Let's see what happens here. Looks like AMC's getting pushed down right off the open, but again, it gapped up. So it's probably just looking to fill that gap as well. I still got SPRT up. Let me see what the SPY's doing. And again, sorry about the video quality today. I kind of pointed out to everybody earlier. It was someone pointed out. I forgot to restart my computer this morning, so I'll definitely have that fixed tomorrow. Faith, what's up? Good morning from Austin, Texas. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Gonna be another green day. I hope so. Let's see. I'm sure someone told the principal. Probably. All right, guys. So, what are we at? 6:30. I'm gonna go for about maybe 3 more minutes. We'll go to 6:35. See where that opening candle leaves. And as much as I hate to sign off, like I said, I'm gonna go try to help my kids get ready for this second day of school. And I'll continue to extend it out. You know, tomorrow I'm gonna have Ghost on, so we'll probably stay on a little bit longer. And then Friday I gotta run till 7 just so Scotty can come on and get us fired up. So, but I just wanted to try to get off early these first couple of days of school for them to kind of help get them running. So I appreciate everybody coming on. I really do. I'm really hoping that we can, continue this kind of green streak that we've been carrying on since Friday. Really stay above max pain, which is $8. And, as of right now, we talked about this a little bit earlier, but even above 750 is above to where calls are outweighing puts. So that kind of gets us to where the bulls are winning on the option chain. We really want to continue to see this thing move up, though. Let's try to get above 850. And then the next stop's 9. All right. SRT says sign off so we can go green, damn it. Let's see. So yeah, thank you everybody again for joining. I really appreciate it. Narwhal's in the house. Let's go. But I really appreciate everybody coming on, joining me every morning. Co-creator, Ego, Lisa, Michael, SRT, Ross, Faith, everybody. I really appreciate you guys. Hit the like button on your way out. Your pal Al, everybody. Hopefully I'll see you guys tomorrow morning celebrating another green day. And make sure you guys go check out Tarheel this afternoon. I forget who he's having on, but I know he just put out a schedule, and I think he's gonna start having a guest on every day. Before power hour. So he's going to have Tarheel's basically an hour before power hour starts, which is 11 a.m. my time, 2 o'clock on the East Coast. He's going to have a new guest every day and then do power hour himself. And then obviously Stocktails on Friday. So make sure you go check him out and give him some support as well. If you're not familiar, the link to Tarheel's channels is down below in the chat. All right, guys. Thank you again. And, let's go. Have good luck today. What's up, Dave? I just seen you in there. All right, DJ Tardis. I'll see you guys later.